Yes, what's going on? My name's Kai, and this video is a detailed look at how well Fortnite runs on your ROG Ally X. Welcome to CaiLife. That is right. We are here to play some Fortnite, but more importantly, to test different settings and see how well this game runs on your ROG Ally X natively, so without anything else running to help support it, with AFMF2 running on it, and then with Lossless Scaling version 3. Now, Fortnite is one of those games that is superbly optimized for pretty much every platform that Epic has it on. I love Fortnite. I unashamedly absolutely love Fortnite, and I love that it runs so well on handhelds, runs so well on my Ally X. Now, before we get stuck in, this is just your usual call to action and a call to arms to hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and to click that notification bell so you know when new videos are dropping on the channel. As of recording right now, we're this close, teeny tiny amount away from 4,000 subs over here, so you might be the one to tip us over the edge. All right, so let's jump into the game. Now, the way we're going to do this, and I'm going to reset this counter above my head, but this is going to show us a mixture of current frames per second. As you can see, it shows an average. The minimum frames per second is going to be a very detailed look, and like I said, we're going to reset it as we start the game. I'm also going to show you what settings we're running in game. Now, this first test is running with no software assistance at all. Okay, so we don't have AFMF on. AFMF2 is off. We're running at 1080p. There's no upscaling going on. There's no lossless scaling going on. This is just going to be, how does this run natively? Naked and native. That's how we like it, yeah. I'll show you what I've got the settings on. At the moment, I'm being, I think over-ambitious is probably underselling it. So we've got a frame rate limit set at 120 FPS. We're running it in windowed full screen. I've just got it set to windowed full screen because that's essentially what we need it when we start getting to lossless scaling and for upscaling. But we're running at 1080p, windowed full screen. VSync is off. I think I've rather stupidly got some of these set to way too high. So I've got lumens high, which is, I think, really dumb. So I think by default that's set to off. Reflections, I think it might be set to off as well. View distance is set to medium. We'll keep the view distance at epic. I've got textures and effects set to high. I'm not having ray tracing on because that's mental. And let's see how we do like this. Now, we really want to be at the between 90 and 120 FPS, really. And with a game like Fortnite, obviously it's a competitive shooter. You want everything to be as smooth and as quick as possible. Let's get the sound on. In fact, we'll get the sound on once we jump into the game. Okay, all right. So look, let's see how well this runs. I'm going to reset the counter when we're on the battle bus. Okay. So we're gonna take it from there. It says preparing shaders. I think I might be asking too much from it already. Let's see. Like I say, the default for this is for the settings to be a lot lower than I've got them. And obviously what we're expecting when we whack in lossless scaling, or maybe even when we use AFMF2, is that we might have some consequences in terms of the input lag. Now, I'm using my Razer Wolverine Xbox controller. Obviously, I have it docked right now, so I'm not using the ROG Ally X controls. They're disabled. Oh, man. Oh, okay, we're in. Okay, let's reset. Okay, frame rate is low. It is low. Okay, let's jump. This might be unplayable. This might be unplayable. 25 frames per second right now, averaging 30. That is not how I like it. Oh, this is this is filthy. This is filthy. Your boy is about to get absolutely mauled as soon as I drop here. Oh, I think I just saw 16 frames per second. Oh my god. Okay. Guys, I was over ambitious with some of the graphic settings. Oh, you can count the frames. You can always count the frames on one hand. Oh, this is great. Oh, 40 though? Nah, this isn't the one, is it? This isn't the one, guys. I can collect some chests at least. Collect some chests. Oh, when did they bring back shield kegs, man? I love shield kegs. Do you reckon I'm going to be able to get 1 kill here? Try and get 1. Hey, we're averaging 38 frames per second, though. That's because I was just stood still for ages. Come on. Even if it's a bot, come on. Oh my god, the frames are so low. Bro, let's go. I don't care if it's a bot. I don't care if it's a bot. Oh, he's got a gold railgun as well. Let's freaking go, champ. What are the chances of a bot picking up a gold railgun? Who cares, man? Average frames are 31. This is tragic. Oh, into the 40s? Okay, guys, I think we can safely say that this combination is not the best. Hey. That's not a bot. No chance, guys. Luckily, this guy's as bad as I am. Almost as bad as I am. Let's change some of the settings. We're not going to change the resolution, okay? We're going to change some of the graphic settings. Because like I say, some of those were overly ambitious. The Nanite technology might be the one that's screwing us up here. I feel like the Nanite graphics. I don't even know what Nanite means. But it's not doing us any good. So let's turn those off, because I definitely don't usually have those on. Remember, most of the time you're playing, well, I mean, I'm assuming here, but most of the time you're playing on your Ally X handheld. Now, on a small 7-inch screen, graphics look great. They look great. When it's docked and you've got it on a big monitor, I've got it at the moment on a 32-inch monitor. When you've got it on a big monitor, it doesn't look so great. That's just the nature of the beast. You just have to accept that. But the aim here is to obviously get the game to run as good as possible whilst looking as good as possible. So let's turn the Nanite virtualized geometry. Love that. We're going to turn that off. Okay, we're going to put the shadows to... Let's put the shadows to medium. We'll keep the shadows on. View distance I want to keep up high. We're going to put the textures... Let's put the textures and the effects down to medium. And we'll put the... post-processing. Oh, yeah, okay. Let's put that down to medium. I think a lot of this is still possibly pushing it quite hard, but we'll see. Let's have a little look. Thing is, it's one of those things that it was running so badly in the last game that I couldn't really even appreciate whether it looked better in terms of graphical fidelity, because it was running so slow, it was so choppy. And it gets to a point where you're like, well, there's sort of not even any point in having a game that looks good if it's running that badly. All right, let's get ready to reset this. 3, 2, 1, and reset. Okay. So now that average in the top left-hand corner of your screen is very relevant to this match. And we're already way better. Look at this. Average 67. Let's jump. Now, I always expect the FPS to take a bit of a hit around here while everything's loading, while everyone's landing, and then it kind of settles down. But let's see whether that's true. One thing's for sure is that we still don't have everything optimized for it running at its most fluid. You know, I'm still running a balance, and we're above the 60s now. We're very, very, very playable. I tell you what, though, I've got an absolutely nonsense Mioke gun. Man, I swear every time I play this game, there's a new gun has been added back in. Oh, your boy is slightly out of practice. Okay, average is 76 FPS though now, guys. And actually, I thought we were going to have to drop the graphic settings by quite a lot to get this high. What you will see a lot now compared to, say, when you're playing handheld is screen tearing. Now, that's something that doesn't happen because of the ROG Ally X's VRR, the variable refresh rate. You lose that when you're docked. I love that. I love having two green... Oh, yeah. Oh, Crimbo time. Don't like this for me, really. Well, I'm not in a good spot here, though, am I? Now I'm in the bad spot. Okay, so frame rate is averaging 84. Guys, we like that. We like that. But ultimately, this is for you guys to judge whether this feels acceptable to you. By the way, using the Lewis Hamilton skin. Well, I'm a massive Formula 1 fan, so I was all over this. Your boy needs a med kit. Really needs a med kit. Really needs a med kit. Oh, God. Still playing like absolute trash. Oh, got away with it. Got away with it because I'm playing against absolute bots. Okay, so my average dipped into the 70s, but this is very playable. Those changes that we made, and I wonder whether the nanite setting actually was doing a lot of the damage in terms of performance. Averaging 82 on the frame rate. That's great. Oh, another legendary. Let's go. Got in this one. Oh, hello. Oh, okay. Now, your boy shouldn't be losing this game. Let's be real. Your boy with this loadout should not be losing this game. Let's see whether I can manage it. I always find a way. I can find a way to lose games. Doesn't take a lot. I'm quite inspirational when it comes to snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. So look, how are we doing? We're averaging 76. Minimum's been 33. And you're playing a handheld. This is going to look gorgeous on a smaller screen. And that, you know, it doesn't just go for the Ally X, but really pretty much for any handheld in 2025 of a similar spec or better. Yeah, usually when I play Fortnite, to maximize performance, what I'll actually do is bring the resolution down to 900p and give myself a little bit of headroom in terms of the graphical fidelity. But just goes to show, this is at 1080. So if you're playing this handheld, this is going to look really, really nice. And you can see how well it's playing. We are playing on turbo mode, obviously, and we're plugged in. So if you're playing at that highest TDP... Okay, all right then, as we're loading in then, just a reminder of what we're working with here. So we're still at 1080. Frame rate limit at 120 FPS is slightly lol-worthy because we're getting nowhere near that. But that's partly because we got shadows on medium. Global illumination is off. Reflections are on screen space. View distance is on the highest setting on epic. Textures on the second highest setting on high. Effects, post-processing on medium. Obviously, we have hardware ray tracing off because that will just completely kill us. Let's put the effects up to. I don't know how bothered I am with having the effects up though. You know, I think I'd rather have the textures higher in terms of graphical fidelity and like eye candy. I'm going to be more impressed about the stuff that I can see permanently as opposed to like... Let's have a look. Reset the counter again. So we've now got texture set to epic, which is the highest setting. And once again, I'm sort of trying to give us the nicest look. Oh! Christ alive. Trying to give us the nicest looking game whilst basically still being above 60 FPS. And I am pretty damn happy with this at the moment, guys. NGL. Just a reminder that this is in 1080p, averaging 68 right now. That is, I mean, that's perfectly playable. It's perfectly playable. Am I joined? Oh yeah, I am joined. Not for long. Thank you. Thank you for your mortal life. So averaging 68, guys. Happy with this. Happy with this. Just trying to see whether I can push this average lower. I am actually managing it now. We're averaging 61. There's a little bit of stuttering. There are some little frame stutters. Nothing that makes it unplayable, but I'm just trying to force heavy drops, and it's not really happening. Hey. And the blades are just so overpowered in this game. It's so ridiculous. There's nothing more infuriating than coming up against someone with a blade when you don't have a blade. Okay, so look, we're still averaging 68 FPS. This is really good, man. This is really good. Okay, let's have Ambient Occlusion. Let's have that on. Yeah, let's see what that does. Let's reset the values. And you can just see with each little tweak, it just makes the game look better and better and better. Without any sort of like game-breaking drop in frame rate. Averaging 68. We're definitely lower. Look, I'd say we've shedded about 10 frames per second. 8 to 10 frames per second. Game definitely looks prettier. I'd be happy still playing at this frame rate. Okay, main thing here is that it's been a couple of minutes now in this setting. We're averaging 65 frames per second. And like I say, this looks pretty good to me. It really does. We did have a minimum of 23. I'm not quite sure when that happened. It dropped big time. Come on. Okay, that has to be a bot trying to shoot me from there. Trying to shoot me through the trees, bro. There's no way you can even see me. 2 terrible shots. Can we make it 3? Yeah, we can. Can I get a 4th? No, that was all right. Holy hell, it's like a blind person's playing. A blind person with no arms. Let's see if we can crank it up a little bit higher. We're going to go shadows onto high. Reset. The shadows now on high. What is going to be the straw that breaks the graphic camel back? Oh my god, that's the worst shooting I've ever done in my entire life. Oh no. Your boy's getting pushed from all angles. Okay, now we're averaging 56. So now we're at the lower than 60 mark. Now that the shadows have been pushed up to high. So this might be the moment where either you start to think to yourself, okay, all of these graphic settings are unnecessarily high, or I'll just bring the resolution down to 900p Okay, average now is 52 frames per second. So this I wouldn't want to play on. There's definitely more screen tearing going on. Having said that, there's always a drop in FPS when you're in a car, because obviously there's just so much going on. So yeah, the frame rate picks up now, but I wouldn't want to... I wouldn't want to play with this level. For me, this is a little bit too stuttery. The frame rate variation is just a bit too high. But it took whacking the shadows up to high. So I'm just going to put the shadows back down to medium. Again, we're going to reset the FPS counter. And it immediately makes a difference. We're now consistently back in the 60s. So there you go, folks. 1080p. No FMF2. No Lossless Scaling. This is running pretty nice. And of course, with the options to drop your resolution to 900p or 720p, if you want a little bit more headroom in terms of performance. Okay, now what I want to do is show you what happens when we prioritize performance over graphical fidelity. So we're going to keep the resolution the same. We're still not running Lossless Scaling or FMF2. It's still just running natively, no software assistance. But what we're going to do is just prioritize performance so that you can see how high we can get. So at the moment, this is on custom. All we're going to do is just whack everything down a touch. I don't want to necessarily turn everything off. Let's turn the quality preset down to medium. So there you can see everything gets turned down to medium, and we're going to just work our way backwards now. So before we were working our way upwards to see how long we could stay at around the 60 FPS or above mark whilst turning the graphics up. Now what we're going to do is see how we can get higher and higher on the FPS whilst shedding some graphical options. 3, 2, 1. FPS reset. Okay, we'll get straight out the bus. So remember now, this is set to the in-game graphics preset of medium. Pretty much medium across the board. Still at 1080p. But we're now going to start to work out what it is that we need to shave off and dial in to start to get to now the 90, 100 FPS work towards 120. So we're averaging 61, which isn't bad considering this is the bus and the landing. Let's see where we are once we've actually landed and we're just running around. Oh, lovely audio glitch there. That was nice, wasn't it? Okay. We hit 78. We're averaging 72. Which is nice. Remember, we're intentionally not really caring about how the game looks right now. We're looking at how well we can get the game to run. We're averaging 75. It's good. Could be better. That'll do. La-da! I'm here all day. Okay, averaging 71. So running around, we seem to be high 60s, low 70s. Like I say, we still have so much headroom here because we're at 1080p. So we can always drop this. And remember, we've got the option that when we do drop it, we've got the option of using AFMF2. Or rather, we've got the option of using the AMD upscaling, the super resolution, or Lossless Scaling's upscaling feature. So there's lots of headroom here. Okay, well, so there we go. We're at 68, 70 FPS. Quality presets. Low. Apply. Here we go. Boom. Reset. Okay. 88. Yeah, we're cooking now. Now it's running very, very quickly. You can see that the general graphics fidelity has plummeted. 100 FPS. There we go. 96 FPS, 98. So if you're like, I don't care about how it looks, I just want to be as competitive as possible. And I'm going to keep reminding you, you're most likely to be playing this handheld, not docked. So you might be looking at this right now and being like, yeah, it runs nicely, but it looks a bit rough. Yeah, it looks a bit rough because we're docked. And we're playing at 1080. You're looking at it on a big screen. If you're playing this on a 7-inch screen, it isn't going to look this rough. It just isn't. So it's worth bearing in mind. Averaging 90 frames per second then. Oh, hello. Oh, lucky for you, I'm rubbish. Oh my god. I'm not even trying though, guys. I'm making this video. It's all about testing the graphics. So I'm not bringing my A game. I've not even got my socks off yet. But there you go. Okay, so we're averaging 93 on low. 1080p. Let's run through some of the same settings running AFMF2 and see what happens. All right, so now we're back in and we've got AFMF2 on. Boost performance, boost the frames, minimize the input lag. Let's see how it works, and let's see how we do with various graphic settings. We're going to start with everything on that preset of high. So quality preset is going to be high. And let's see how we do compared to when we were running with no software boost, no software help. Now, bear in mind that when we were running without FMF2 on, no lossless scaling, whatever, and we had the settings on high, we had a frame rate that was down at like 15 and 16 and in the low 20s. I think it averaged out at about 30. It was unplayable. I'm expecting more of the same, but let's see what happens. Let's just see what happens. Holy hell, man. I've been sitting on the preparing shader screen for about 1.5 to 2 minutes. Oh, we're in! Oh my god, we're actually flying. Okay, wait. Okay, reset. Oh my god, that's hilarious. It took so long to prepare the shaders. Okay, let's actually land somewhere with some stuffs. Okay, so now bear in mind, graphics preset is high. FMF2 is on. What are we saying here? Going to judge it now that we've landed. Looks like we're at a similar kind of performance. Maybe some more frames, in fairness. FMF2 then has definitely added frames. It is still not particularly playable, IMO. But it's definitely holding up better than without FMF2 on. Now the question is, input lag. It's there, but I have to say, actually, not to a hugely destructive degree, but I mean, the thing is, it's generally not very playable at this frame rate, so this isn't really the acid test. The acid test is going to come from when we bring the graphics presets down just a touch. Yeah! So frame rate averaging at 32. Definite improvement. Okay, let's start playing our game. Gonna ignore that. Doesn't sound like they're shooting at me, so I might get away with this. Down to medium. And we're in. And reset frames. Two bots having a... Okay, this is where I can feel... Not very much, but this is where I can feel the input lag. There's no doubt about that. And that's what I'm going to blame my bad shooting on. Yeah, there's definite input lag. And there's not very much of it, but there's enough. There's enough. Average frame rate's 39, so we've added about 8 to 10 frames extra than with AFMF2 off. Yeah, this is where I'd start to say initial review here is that the benefits that you get from running AFMF2, well, apart from that huge stutter, that massive spike right there, is the input lag makes it not worth it. Now, averaging 44 frames, that's not bad. It's not bad, but it's not, I mean, it's not great. Frames, have a look at the frame time as well. It's another crucial aspect to look at here. Leave my guy infinitely running. And we're going to whack the graphics quality preset down to low. I'm expecting pretty good things here. Let's go. Bam! Reset the frames counter. Now, bear in mind that with AFMF2 off, on a preset of low, actually we were in the 90s. I'm not quite sure why we're not there at the moment. No, we're averaging 61. This is really interesting. I did not expect this result. So AFMF2 is on. CPU boost is on, but we had CPU boost on when we were running without AFMF2. And now, look, don't get me wrong, this is a very playable frame rate. But you had an extremely playable frame rate, actually a better frame rate, with AFMF2 off. Genuine story. Averaging 65. This is a crazy result. Even I was not expecting this on this test. I was expecting really good frame generation, but disastrous input lag. And when I say disastrous, I don't mean high, but I sort of mean any. Because that's the problem, is that when you're playing competitive shooter, any input lag is not good. There is definitely way less input lag now that we set the graphic settings down to low. But at the moment, I'm not seeing the advantage of running AFMF2 over not running AFMF at all whilst playing Fortnite on the Ally X, which is not what I expected. Into the 40s there. Oh! Okay. Oh! Oh! Okay, that's not the one. That's not the one. That's not the one. Okay, some massive spikes that we were not getting without AFMF2. We're averaging 64, 65, it's fine. But on low graphic settings, not really the one. Let's try lossless scaling and see what our results are. I suspect they're going to be roughly the same. Oh, hello. Wait. How rude. Lol, did he just lob a shield? Did that bot just lob a shield at me? Snake! Snake! Okay, anyway. There you go. AFMF2, low settings. Surprising. Surprising. Let's try it with lossless scaling on. Okay, and test number 3 then. Now we're running lossless scaling. And this is the app that you can buy on Steam. I've done loads of videos on this, including a review and some performance tests in certain games. Haven't tried it with Fortnite. Generally, I wouldn't recommend running frame generation software with a competitive game, as we've just seen with AFMF2. Let's see what happens. As you can see, I've turned off the FPS counter that I had because it doesn't play nicely, it seems like, with lossless scaling. It was going absolutely haywire. So you've got the lossless scaling FPS drawer up in the corner, which shows you the original frame rate and then what it's being converted to. So at the moment it's showing as obviously it's doubling the FPS. But we're going to do the same 3 tests. We're going to start on high for our quality preset. And let's see how we do. I have to say, I already feel like I'm getting lag in the menu, which is not good. And we're in, and we've been dumped. All right, now, keep an eye on that top left-hand corner, because obviously now we've only got an original frame rate and the newly generated frame rate. We don't have an average set there. Now, as you can see, from the start, frames are looking good. We would be at around 26, which is what the high settings did suggest. When we're running AFMF2 or not running anything at all, we're on high graphics settings. We've got stutters here, definite micro stutters. Okay, oh, definite stutters going on. What I will say is that the input lag is far more pronounced than with AFMF2. In fact, unplayably so. IMHO. Okay, so the frame rate's great. We've got absolutely nothing to quibble with here. But, I mean, there is a very noticeable delay. There is I mean, this isn't playable. There is a huge delay. I mean, I'm going to try and give you a visual representation of this. That might not look like a lot, but it's a lot. And I think you're going to see it manifest with an absolutely appalling... I mean, I have to try and guess whether this person's here or not. The input lag is untenable. It's completely untenable. Oh, I mean, I don't even have the luck of coming up against a bot here. Wish me luck, guys. Bang! Oh, I got some shots away, though. Not playable. Not playable. Okay, before we ready up, I'm actually going to drop the settings, just in case that helps with the preparing of the shaders. Graphics quality down to medium. Now, you can already see how the frame rate has improved even now. It's in the 70s. I think it might have even hit 80. Now, that's all good and well. Now, and I'm a huge advocate for lossless scaling. I think it's great. There is a big asterisk there. It's a huge asterisk. That lossless scaling, in my experience, is the better of the two. By far. As long as you're not playing some sort of competitive, fast-paced game. We'll see what a difference it makes. Now, we saw reduced input lag as soon as we started to bring the graphics settings down when we were running AFMF2. We brought it down to low, and there was the least input lag, but there wasn't enough frame generation with the graphics settings at low for me to run AFMF2. So you may as well run nothing. If you're playing Hogwarts Legacy, if you're playing an RPG, an ARPG, where fast twitch, muscle movements, quick reactions aren't the order of the day, lossless scaling is awesome. I mean, AFMF2 is great, but in my experience, lossless scaling is awesome. Frame rate is lovely here then. He says, with definite stutters, but I mean, we always tend to get stutters jumping off the bus. That's not the key point here. My quibble here isn't performance per se, because it's good. Even then, with the graphics settings on high, that was really nice, but the input lag makes it unplayable. Input lag is less at the moment. I mean, still then, I tried to change my weapon and it just didn't register the input. Frame rate is in the 70s, in the 80s. And this is what I mean. In terms of what it can actually do, lossless scaling is great. But in a competitive shooter, it's not what you want. This is where I'd start saying to you that this is the conclusive proof moment. The conclusive proof moment that we are blessed with a game like Fortnite being so well optimized for your device, including the Ally X, that you don't need to run frame gen software. But I can't even recommend it as like, yeah, sure, give it a go. It might work for you. It doesn't work for me, but it works for you. I mean, objectively, this is much nicer than with the graphics settings on high, and it's a stable frame rate for sure. We're going to put the graphics settings on low. Oh my god, the input lag for me pushing the menu button there was about a second. Low. Boom. In we go. Frame rate in the 80s. Frame rate in the 90s. Okay, and once again, input lag is reduced. However, there is still more input lag than when we're not running frame gen. Oh! Oh, and again, huge spikes. This is exactly what we saw with AFMF2. Keep an eye on that frame rate in the top left-hand corner. That holds steady. Apart from these random lag spikes, I mean, look at this. We're basically now just steady at 90, which is, it's great. But we were steady in the 90s when we weren't running frame gen software. And now we're getting huge lag spikes again. Input lag is minimal, but it's there. It's noticeable. This isn't fun for me. I mean, I am able to kill a bot. I assume that was a bot. If it wasn't a bot, then get wrecked. But this isn't an enjoyable Fortnite experience for me. And I don't think it would be for you either. Excuse me. Don't be so rude. Don't be so rude. Come down here and show your face. Lol. Definitely a bot. And make up your own mind. This is one of those things where you do need to trust in what I'm saying in terms of the input lag, because performance-wise, I'm sure this looks great, although we are on low graphics settings right now. So it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. Does this work? Me doing this? Hell yeah, it does. Hell yeah, it does. There you have it. Even I'm surprised by the outcome of this. I was expecting some mega high frame rates, even though there was input lag. To be honest, AFMF2 and Lossless Scaling don't even deliver some incredible frame rates when they're running. The Fortnite runs fantastically without any software enhancement. So that's the bottom line here. That's the great news. That's the fantastic news. I love this game. It doesn't need any assistance. In my experience, if you're going to run AFMF2, if you're going to run Lossless Scaling, it shines, both of them shine in non-competitive games. You don't want to be playing them in COD, in Warzone, in Rocket League, in Marvel, in Apex. None of the Rocket League. You don't want to be running it in any of those. And in all honesty, you don't need to, because all of those games run so well natively on the Ally X anyway. There you go. In our test, running no frame gen whatsoever is the way to go. All right, thank you so much for joining me, you guys. You guys are badasses. I love every single one of you CaiLifers. Is there a game you want me to do a similar test as to what I've done with Fortnite in? Then just let me know in the comments and we'll run it. But until the very next video, take care, much love, and peace out.